Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much, guys, for your greatest support. Now, fellow Kenyans, I remember the first time that these guys went to France. That is our president, our beloved president, Dr. William Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto, together with the Musalia Mudavadi and the wife. A lot of people were asking, and I saw people asking me this question, that Boni, what is normally the reason as to why Musalia Mudavadi normally goes outside? Kazi ya Musalia Mudavadi inakuwaga nini? Okay, Musalia Mudavadi is a Minister of Foreign Affairs. I don't know why that office was created for him, but walikuwa natafuta kazi, alikuwa anatafutiwa kazi popote pale ambapo inaweza patikana, so that at least he can also feel that he's in the government, because according to them, they felt like, they're the ones that made William Ruto become the president by defeating Raila Odinga for garnering more votes in Western. So they insisted that they have to be in government. And that is why William Ruto had to create chances for them. His brother, that is Papa Waroma, is the Speaker of the National Assembly. And he is now the Minister for Foreign Affairs, in which that office, I don't know what it normally does, though I have a very good friend of mine who works in that office. But the thing is, that office literally ukijaribu kuangalia, yes, it is the government, but kazi kubwa ambayo inafanya watu wengi sana hawaelewi inakuwa kazi gani. Musalia Mudavadi got a new job. Alipata kazi mpya wakati ambapo wameenda G7 huko France. William Ruto was not allowed to sit on the table with the great seven presidents. I think I did that video yesterday, where Donald Trump, Donald Trump and his friends, his 6 colleagues, sat on the table, but William Ruto was nowhere to be seen. Maybe now, I think baadaye and your okay, William Ruto was an invited guest. He was an invited guest. And I told you that any invited guest, any invited visitor, or any invited president that attended the G7, automatically those are the people that the decision that was going to be made at the G7. Now they are going to be like, they're going to be tested, like nchi yao ndio inaenda kuwa kama inaitwaje, apparatus za kutest kama kitu inaweza fanya kazi ama izifanya kazi. That is why Ebola has been thrown in Africa. We have Ebola, and if at all these the first world countries wants to do something, they must throw it to the third world countries. We are still developing. Lakini our president wants people to make to really assume that we have already made it, we are already there. Pale ambao bado tuko mbali sana. So Musalia Mudavadi aliambiwa na William Ruto kwamba boss, wewe kazi ambayo umekuja kufanya hapa si kubwa sana. Now what I want you to do, nataka nikisalimia hawa watu, wewe kazi yenye utafanya ni rahisi sana. Wewe nikisalimia watu, wewe piga picha. You can see Musalia Mudavadi now is taking photos. He is a photographer. At what point does it do a leader, or why would a leader be subjected into such a situation? Or Musalia Mudavadi anaenda kufanya hizi picha? Okay, let's just ask ourselves questions. Tuongee tu kweli. So unataka kuniambia kwamba what is Musalia Mudavadi going to do with these photos? Okay, according to you, what do you think he's going to do with the photos that he was taking? Yes, he took photos. Yes, he was taking photos using an iPhone. Hiyo iPhone ilikuwa ya Ruto ama ilikuwa yake, but I suspect ilikuwa ya mtu mwingine hapo mwenye tutaki kusema. Hizo picha zinaenda kuwekwa wapi? Don't they have photographers? Si wako na watu wa kupiga picha? Ama watu wa kupiga picha wako kubaliwa kuingia kwa hizo rooms, na Ruto mwenyewe alikuwa anataka hata siku moja kwa anakumbuka akamwambia Musalia Mudavadi, wewe bwana utanipiga picha alafu utanitumia. That is what is happening. I remember there was a time that tulikuwa na function fulani, and I will not mention his name, but his wakati sikuwa, like I was still young. I was still very young. Umeenda tulikuwa State House. It was like a function, and the person that I was staying with by then is a presidential escort. Is working au wenye wana escort presidents. Hiyo time ilikuwa time ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Was it Uhuru Kenyatta or 2013? Was it 2013? Yeah, I remember it was around 2013 there. 2013, yeah, 2013. So what happened was that wakati tulifika, so I was given a phone. You're very naive, you still don't know, like hauna nini sana, you don't know things. Na huyu mtu mnakana you know. And then the person told me that now what I want you to do is wewe ukuwa unanipiga picha. You focus on me. I'm telling you, so what Mudavadi was told, you focus on, usifocus kwa mtu mwingine. Focus on me. That is what I was told. That wewe ukiniona tu hivi, hata ukiona tunapita hivi, wewe nipige picha. Mimi ndio nipige picha. Usipige, like literally don't take any photo ya mtu yote. Wewe nipige picha and uangalie zile serious, okay, ile serious point pengine kama tunasalimiana ama nini, ya hiyo ndio time upige. So I was trying to relate what Musalia Mudavadi was told by the master, that wewe unipige picha. So Musalia Mudavadi amebadilishwa, yani ile kazi yenye alienda kufanya huko ni kama sasa hata hajafanya, ameambiwa wewe uko unatupiga picha. Papa wa Roma, ndugu yako bwana. Ndugu yako the second story of the day, and then nataka kuniambia that hao ndio watu wenye wanataka kuwa marais Kenya. Anyway, the second story of the day is about Donald Trump. Donald Trump have talked about giving African countries 48 billion to contain Ebola. My question is this. So Donald Trump is admitting that they decided to give 48 million to African countries for Ebola.
In our session yesterday afternoon on international partnerships, I offered an update on how the United States is leading the world in responding to the Ebola outbreak in Africa, sending $375 million in aid so far to help stop and contain the crisis at its source, and we've done great. I was with the president of a couple of presidents came over, by the way, from African nations, and they were so happy with what we did. But where it's unfair is we gave $375 million. The rest of the world gave essentially nothing, maybe a couple of bucks, but nothing. And they were all saying, thank you so much. And I think they've done a good job. It's a terrible thing. Ebola is a terrible thing. That's an unbelievable one. Fortunately, it's not like COVID where it's that easy to spread around, but it's rough, and we've done a good job. We've moved people to certain quarantine, certain locations. But today we also had excellent meetings on the economy and artificial intelligence, which is amazing what's going on with that. It's going to be the biggest thing ever. We have to be very careful with it. It's both great and could be bad. We have to be careful with it, but we're leading China, we're leading the world on that. We're allowing them to do their own electric plants because they need, as an example, those buildings are so big, and they're not taking the community's electricity. I gave them the right, it's my idea, I gave them the right to build electric plants.
I have a question to ask. How many countries in Africa are being affected or are being connected with this issue of Ebola? I think it's Kenya and the DRC Congo. Only 2 countries in Africa. Alafu Trump anasema ya kwamba when they offered that money, African presidents were very happy. Nani nafikiria kitu nafikiria? Like African presidents were very happy when they were given this money, when they were given this 48 billion to contain Ebola. I was waiting for Trump to talk about talking to William Ruto or calling William Ruto to talk about building Ebola quarantine in Nanyuki. Actually, that is what I was waiting for. Trump aseme that we had a phone call with, because William Ruto said that they had a phone call. Remember when he was in South Africa, if I'm not wrong, when William Ruto was in South Africa, when he was being asked, alisema vizuri kwamba it would be wrong for us to refuse to give Donald Trump a place for Ebola quarantine. Because I had a phone call with Donald Trump, and he requested that we give him Nanyuki, so that at least in that place they can build quarantine, Ebola quarantine. So I was just waiting for Trump to say that. I even called William Ruto, and we had a conversation about where this quarantine would be built, and he gave me Nanyuki. Because mimi sinajua vizuri kwamba Trump does not know where Nanyuki is. Trump hajui kama kuna pale ambapo inaitwa Nanyuki, Laikipia, Nanyuki and all that. Hajui kabisa. Hizi ni mambo ambazo mtu ndiye analazimisha tu, cause unajua, you know, the moment this money was mentioned, this 48 billion, nikajua bas. Ndo maana jamaa wetu ana insist on building this quarantine, because anajua kwamba if Kenyans refuse, then 48 billion imeenda hivyo. Na yeye na pesa kitu kimoja. Anyway, let me listen to your thought at the comment section concerning these two videos. Number one, Musalia Mudavadi kubadilishwa kuwa photographer wa William Ruto. Na nyingine, Trump kusema kwamba alipeana 48 billion Kenya shillings to be used for quarantine or to contain Ebola in Africa. And African presidents that were given this money were very, very happy. Let me know what you think, and let's meet in the next video if it is possible, because that is just my opinion and that is my thought.